What is up and welcome back, guys. So in today's video, I'm going to be covering more smalls that sell. Everyone really seems to be enjoying this series. So as long as you guys keep enjoying it and watching, I'll keep making them. And for those out there that do not know what this series is about, it is all about the power of smalls and breaking down popular items from the big box stores and figuring out how to make them. And whenever I say the power of smalls, I mean something that you can build for cheap, $2 or $3, and then resell for maybe 10 times profit. And if you're interested in the business side of things, hang around to the end. I'll be covering a little bit more about that, but I'll also be talking about some marketing techniques as I go through the video. And also in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to make these super awesome, I'm just going to call them garden baskets, out of just one fence picket. Yes, I'm still digging on some fence pickets per basket. So hang around for that. You can essentially build these for a couple of bucks, and I'm going to show you how. So I have a lot of things to cover, so let's go ahead and dive into this video. Okay, so the first one that we're going to talk about is this Hexagon tray. We've talked about before how trays are in every household. So what caught my eye on this one was, it was in the popular section of this store's internet site. So that just means that it's one of their most purchased items. And it's pretty cool. But is it $200 cool? This one is $196.99. I don't know where they keep getting the 99 cents. It's the psychological gas effect. So let's say that they are selling this thing for $200. So if you look closely at this, what we have is a hexagon. All of the material looks like that it's made out of 1/2 inch material. So this would be a perfect picket or pallet wood build. If you're going to build this, keep in mind that whenever you're cutting the outside edges, that the material standing up against the fence, the rest of the material you can actually cut laying flat on the bed. So this is one that I just put together, like literally right before I recorded this. I just threw this hexagon together. All of your corners have to be the same length, and they all have to be cut at 30 degrees. I'm just going to keep my face here. So the way that they started this is just by staining all of your material, and then you'll take the outside of the tray and assemble that. And what they've done, if you look through these cracks, you can see that they have slats running across where you can attach the boards that you can see from the underneath. I just cut this as well. Again, 30 degrees on each side. So they'll have slats like this in the back. And the only thing that they are there for is to be able to attach the ones that you'll see, or I'll call them the ones in the front. So once you have some back slats in and flush with what we would call the back of your tray, and now it would be time to install the inside. So if you're looking at that picture, your first one would go all the way across. And of course you have back slats that you're attaching this to, and you would go all the way down with your slats, okay? So all the way to the bottom. And then at the top, where they have them angled, that's all they've done to start, is to add another double-sided 30-degree board, and then attach all of these from the back as you go. They'll go all the way across, and then repeat the process for the opposite side. So they have theirs stained up to make it look rustic. Again, what I'm seeing over and over on a lot of these sites is that they are calling it modern rustic. And anytime that a trend is in, like modern rustic, capitalize on that, use that. So you are now selling anything that you make that incorporates metal and wood, or anything with a geometric shape. I don't know why they consider that modern. I mean, heck, the pyramids were used building a lot of these methods. It's just marketing. But anytime you use any of that stuff, modern rustic. So in this case, they use this hexagon, which they're calling modern, and rustic, which they just took new wood and made it look old. So they just put a stain on this, and it looks great. But I would also offer different styles with alternating colors on the slats and things like that. And again, whenever you go to sell these things, stage them up like this. On this particular item, I would actually stage it up inside and outside, like on an outside patio table. It would actually look pretty cool on an outside table. I may just make one for myself. A grill setting, you can put some spices and different things like that in there. Maybe even some cutlery and salt and pepper shaker. I don't know. And that is another thing that people will spend money on, is the outdoor entertainment areas. So this is where their guests will come over. They'll sit out back for entertainment, and they want it to look nice. That is a perfect selling point. And if you made up a bunch of these, I do not think that you would have any trouble at all moving them. Now, will you get $200 for them? No, essentially you can build this out of one fence picket or some scrap wood. So at most you'll have a few bucks in it. So price it reasonable. So what I've learned is that every different state has different selling prices, as well as every different country. So just test the waters with each one of these products to determine your price. Yes, you'll have to put in a little bit of work, but it will pay off. And before we hop into the next one, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit that little notification bell. On to the next one. So this next one actually incorporates a couple of different ideas. I was on what I'll call P1's website, and I noticed that one of their top sellers was this rustic heart. Scroll on to some of their other hot selling items and this wooden egg pops up. So what they have done, they're creating these things around the different holidays. They have Valentine's Day and then Easter's coming up. And I guarantee you, they have the same sizes and using this exact same material, and they'll have like a shamrock, and then they'll have a pumpkin or something like that. Then they'll have a tree. So the holidays, people will spend money on decorations for the holidays. We have discussed this, and this is proof of that. They're wanting $83 for a 12 by 12 heart, or if you wanted a 24 by 24, that's going to run you 130 bucks. So let's zoom in and take a closer look at this. This is rustic looking wood. So for the pallet people out there, perfect. This thing is for you. And if you're not into pallets, again, the fence pickets, before you sand them down, they look rough. They have the saw marks still in them. Leave those in there, then you can just stain or paint that up and it will give it that rustic look. But you can even see some of the old nail holes and things like that in this material. And if you want to replicate that, stain or paint it however that you would like. Hammer in an old nail and then knock it back out, leaving the hole and leaving the indentation. And those rough areas actually help to set off this rustic look. So how did they build this? They started off with just a 12 by 12 square. So I just cut 12-inch strips, square ends, and lay them flat on the table until I had a 12 by 12. Once you have that, if you look closely here, you can actually see through those slats and you see horizontal slats. So there is no backer to this. Originally, when I first saw this, I thought that they actually had this attached to a piece of like 1/4-inch plywood. They didn't even do that. They've just taken some of the same material, made thin slats, laid it across this 12 by 12 material, and then attached all of those strips from the back. They probably had 3 of those running down this whole thing, which is even better because using scrap wood to attach this adds to the rustic look and is cheaper than 1/4-inch plywood. So once you have your square, now's the hard part. You have to draw a perfect heart. Why is drawing a heart so difficult? It always just seems like you get one side right and the other side's lumpy or whatever. So let me show you the easiest way to draw a perfect heart. Drawing a perfect heart is a lot easier than what we make it out to be. We just need to start with a perfect square. And the larger the square, the larger that the heart will be. I'm going to make a 4-inch square. So once you have your square on these top 2 edges, let's go ahead and make a center mark. So since this is a 4-inch square, I'm marking at 2. So now I'm going to set my compass to the distance from the center mark to the edge of our square. And then that's all that we'll do is make an arch from the center point to our corner. We'll do the same thing on this side, center point, and now we have a perfect heart. That's just one of the reasons why a compass comes in super handy in any workshop. I would draw that out on a piece of cardboard, cut it out, use that as a template. The thickness in the description of this is 1 inch total, so that means that every bit of this material used is a 1/2 inch thick. So super easy to make. If your wood is rustic enough, you can leave it natural or you can paint them up like they have done. And as easy as these things are to make, I would do a little bit of each. See what's selling and then follow that path. So this next one is another modern rustic design. Tissue box. Seen these things around for years, but they really just didn't appeal to me. But with adding a little bit of hardware to this, that made them look pretty cool. Okay, so the thing is every house has tissue boxes sitting around and they're an eyesore. So everyone is looking for different ways to cover that up. Since modern rustic is in, that's what you'll make. Modern rustic tissue boxes. And that's all that this is a box with an open bottom. You can slide over your box of tissues and it just hides the ugly box underneath. They're wanting $73 for their modern rustic tissue box, and it was a popular item. So people are buying these things. So these have super thin material and they are crudely built. So if you have some 1/4-inch material laying around, perfect for this. You can even use a 1/2 inch material, but just make sure that the insides will still fit over a tissue box or the side walls of these tissue boxes. That's all that they are using is a butt joint. So literally just butting up 2 pieces of wood. So let's say that your material is a 1/2 inch thick. We're just gluing this and throwing in a couple of brad nails just to hold that together. We're doing this all the way around until they have their box. Now the top, that's all that they have done is taken another piece of wood that's the same thickness and just set it on top. To get the little tissue opening, there's several different ways that you can do that. The easiest would be to draw your oval out where you want the tissues to come out of. Drill a hole in the center of your oval, put your jigsaw blade in there, and then jigsaw this out. Or if you didn't want to use a jigsaw, you could also use a router for that part. Then they just glued and nailed the top on. But the reason why these things are selling, it's not because of the box. I mean, it's a crudely built, kind of a cheap looking box, but it's the hardware. It's the sides. It's that modern rustic. It's those small little metal straps that are going around the corners. Those things are dirt cheap. So for a little over $8, you can get a 30 pack of those. And if it were me, I would also get some of these. These are made for the corners, and then that would really set it off. So if you had these on each one of your corners, and then those metal straps, you could sell these things like hotcakes. I wonder where that saying came from. Sell them like hotcakes. So a hot cake is a pancake. Okay, so if you know where selling something like hotcakes came from, drop it into the comments, because that's another thing I have no clue. I have all kinds of sayings that I have no clue what they mean. I really should start looking them up. So this next one, I was just playing around in the shop, and I was actually making some wooden boxes. So that kind of escalated into an idea of a wooden basket. Like, I'm picturing this full of vegetables from the garden. So I'm calling it a garden basket. So I used some reclaimed pine that I had here. Then I had some old leather laying around. I just cut and made handles. But this is big and this is kind of heavy. So I wanted to see if I could make these out of one fence picket. And you can. And this one I've just painted different colors. Instead of leather, I just put a piece of rope in there. So I made a short video on how to make these step by step. It's super easy. But again, if you are a plans in the hand type of person and you would like the plans for this, just head over to my Etsy shop. I'll throw the link in the description and the plans will be there. Let's go ahead and hop into this video.
Again, this is only one fence picket that is 72 inches long and 5.5 inches wide. So to start with, I'm just going to take my picket and cut two 12-inch boards off of the end. We'll be using those for the sides. Then I'll take my 12-inch boards and I'll measure down 1 3/4 inches from the top of each corner. Then I'll set my saw to 40 degrees, and then from the mark that I made, I'll cut in. I'll flip the board over and repeat this process. Now with the ends cut, we can go ahead and make our slats. Using what is left of the picket, go ahead and rip that down to 1.5 inch strips. Then we'll take those strips and cut those down to 14 inches in length. We'll need 9 of these. Now we will pre-drill and counterbore each one of these boards. So I'll start by measuring 1/4 inch in and marking center. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can use a 3/8 inch drill bit set at 3/8 inch deep. And that's what I'm showing you here. Or to make it even easier, you can use Craig's quick flip and you don't have to worry about tear out, and it will counterbore and pre-drill at the same time. So after we have all of our holes drilled and bored, let's put this thing together. So to start, I'm going to attach a strip to one of our end boards. I found that it's easier if the end boards are actually upside down. Provides a little bit more support. Then I'll attach it to the second end board. Repeat this process for the opposite side. Now let's install the rest of our slats. I'm going to use 3/4 inch spacing, and just an FYI, I'm using wood glue and 1-inch pocket hole screws. Then once our first side is installed, I will go ahead and move on to the bottom, and for the bottom I want one board flush with each edge and one board centered. Once the bottom is installed, we will just repeat this process for the remaining side. And to make everything nice and neat, I'm going to cap off my bore hose with 3/8 inch dowel, or you can buy 3/8 inch plugs for this. Just a common sense reminder, never cut towards your hand if you're using dowels. It never works out well. But after you have all of your dowels in place, let's go ahead and sand those down. Let's go ahead and add our handles. We're going to measure in 3 inches in from each side and 1 inch down. This is where we will drill our hose to fit the rope that you're deciding to use. I'm using 3/8 inch rope. You'll need two 30-inch pieces to tie a knot in one end, feed it through, feed it back in, and then tie a knot in the other. Now you have 2 rope handles and a pretty cool basket. I really think that the dowels set it off.
And these things will sell. I've told you before, any type of box or basket will sell. But if you're going to sell these as a garden basket, I would use the cedar. The cedar pickets have came down, so they're only a few bucks. And take the time to do the extra step of putting these plugs in. That just finalizes it. It makes it look clean. It makes it look nice. That's what's going to set your product apart from everyone else's. And they even sell these little buttons. So these are 1/4 inch wooden buttons that will go into the pre-drilled holes, and they're actually rounded on the top. So they've even made it that much easier for you. And these things are neat and will sell. And when you stage these up, you can either put some vegetables in there, throw some fresh flowers in there. The cool thing about something like this is that it is whatever you are advertising it as, be it a vegetable basket, be it a flower basket, or just a decoration for the house. Regardless, they're super neat and they'll sell. And this last one, you know that I like to save something that I think that is kind of crazy but interesting for the end. This woodcut pyramid for jewelry that they're wanting $40 some for. Look familiar? I like mine better. I actually made a whole set of these things just playing around because this blew my mind. Who is paying this? Someone is paying that, or they would not be making these things and taking up their space. So yes, it is a cool idea to take something like this, to put watches on, or even these smaller ones to put rings on. It's neat. I like the idea, but this is crazy. So all that I did was take an old 4x4 and I set my miter saw on 50 degrees, made my first cut, turned the board, made my second cut, all the way around, and this is what you come up with. A $40-some jewelry holder. Since I do not wear watches in the shop, I'll just have to use my rubber band. Has anybody ever noticed that I always have a rubber band on? But that's how it works. $40-some rubber band holder for me. But you know I like to make fun of these stores for these different types of items, but there's always kind of a message attached to it whenever I'm doing it. So yeah, these things are crazy that they're selling them for that price, but they are interesting. I'd say go for it. They're different. They're obviously selling, so what I would do is make a set of different sizes, even this little 2x2 for rings. They don't have that. I may call them up and see if they want to buy mine. I'll cut them a deal and sell them this one for 10 bucks. I'm just using that as an example because, like I've said before, these stores have done their homework. Someone out there is getting paid a ton of money to do the research and keep up with what people are interested in, what people will buy. Obviously, it's something like this for $40-some, or they would not take up their shelf space with it. So again, when you're looking for ideas, hop onto these different sites, see what's popular, see how many reviews that it has. If it has 10,000 reviews, and let's say that only 10% of the people that purchase it actually leave a review, look at how many units that they've sold of that. Research has already been done for you. Just up to you to interpret it, take that item, put your own twist to it, take that concept, make a different item or a different product, and sell it. I cannot stress that enough. So even the big box stores do this. So if one company has something that is selling really well, you can guarantee that within a week, you will see it in every store out there. That's business, that's marketing, and that's how you keep on top of what is hot and what is selling. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I love doing these types of videos, breaking down different types of builds. And most of all, I love seeing what you guys come back with. So if you decide to make any of these items, submit it to the brag board. The link is in the description. So make sure to share with me and the woodworking community what you have made and show off how you put your twist to it. And whenever I say show off, I do not mean that in a negative way. It's more of a proud way. You are proud of what you've made, so let people see what you've made. There is nothing wrong with being proud of something that you have created. So with that said, I've given you some new ideas to play around with, so time to get to work. Till next time, guys, we'll see ya.